Hello everyone, welcome to another Run the Flow Gnode edition update video. So I have managed to map the Gnode modifier parameters into an operator, and you can now edit these modifier settings right here without ever going to the modifier tab. So it perfectly reflects the UI that you will find here using this control right here. So things still can change, and I might unify this to a single operator and use key events to actually differentiate between the two. So for example, clicking on the operator will add or initiate the random panels, and then something like alt click on the operator will activate the edit random panels and let you edit the modifier settings using just this. Okay. Okay, let's try and build details for the spaceship base mesh right here using this new update. So you can, the advantage of this is you can operate or work on your model in full screen rather than go back to the modifier tab every time. And let's go over to offset and switch individual. This is our scale. Let's try and use the other scale. And then let's use extra offset and give it a push and toggle off individual. Then we can randomize which of the topology is being affected by the extra offset. Something like 3%, 0.4 can also affect the scale. Also shade smooth like before, can randomize. And you can switch between the RM and the RS solver. So this is the RS solver. Shh, my dog is barking again. I can try and see this in vertex color mode. Need to add, okay, we already have color, so we can use this solver extras, use vertex color. There we go. So we can edit the distribution right here, something like one. Excuse me. That's that's my dog. Okay. Edit the distribution between color one and color two. Set extras, something like 25% for the random shading. This one here. So since this redo panel mimics or basically is the modifier stack right here, the settings of the random panels modifier. It's different from the original random flow or any other operator in Blender. Um, s- um, from those operator, once you confirm it, you can no longer get back to those settings. Those are one time. But with this, since this is a modifier, and this is also an operator, and this is also redo panel settings. However, this is just mimicking what the modifier settings are, so we can always go back to it. The disadvantage being we cannot access this virtual mesh or faces. We have modularity, But these details are untouchable. Okay. So we'll just play around with E. Let's try RM or S. Play around with the settings till we get the ship. Let's try and use get the ship that we want. Let's try and use another HRI, something sharper like this. You can control the amount of detail right here, and also control the amount of faces that are being extruded. So there's a whole bunch of controls. Go. And to control the amount of detail that is in a particular area, you can just collapse or remove edges. But make sure that the topology remains quads or tris. So just like that. And if you want more detail in a particular area, you can just add more topology in there. So I want more topology right here, for example. And I just added like that. There we go. We have more compressed detail there. Relative 2D subdivision being used in the solvers. We can modify the seed value of the solver. And if you're using 100%, if you're using a percentage for the offset that is below 100%, you can of course randomize that. And then we also have the randomization of the extra offset right here. This is the randomization of the distribution based on the percentage. And this is the randomization of the offset height, the min and max, and the scale. The scale is also being randomized from 1 to the value that you see here. So 1 is no scale, and above and below that is the increase or decrease in the scale. You can just also modify the topology of the base mesh. So there we go. So you need to start with a really basic mesh. Oh, those that wing is really good. Really basic mesh. You need to use a really basic mesh for random flow node edition. Whereas with the original random flow, you can use any kind of mesh, high res to basic. You have the advantage of modifying the resulting mesh using the original random flow, but without the modularity. However, with the Geonode edition, you have modularity like this one. So for example, we go back to 19 seed. We don't like it. We go back to the 21 seed, which is the one that we have before. And there is modularity, but we cannot touch this mesh, these faces. These are virtual faces created by the modifier. But as you can see, it's um, really fun. I guess um, the idea here is, of course, having fun. As you can see, with just a basic mesh, base mesh, you can get this. You can add this to your scene in your concept art scene, and then it's ready to go. You just need to UV the source mesh and the faces that is generated from the genodes will inherit part of the source mesh, part of the UV map. The top faces will inherit the UV map. However, the faces on the sides will not inherit those, but at certain distance, the viewer cannot, of course, see that weakness. Okay, let's play around with the random seed value and take the take take the settings to something. Really play around with the settings. Okay, it's really detailed. Individual, so you can choose to scale only the individual that produces more details, and that will really make the ship look big because of the more minute details. Instead of you can create a spaceship that carries only one pilot, and then make it by just adjusting the settings, you can make it to a mothership from a single pilot spaceship to a mothership by just by modifying the settings. Okay, let's try 80% random shading value and play around with this. 0% shading, randomized shading. We have really sharp faces. Looks really good. This looks really good. Okay, let's try the RM solver and play around with the settings. Oh my God, it's good. Okay, let's collapse them. Edges here to make the details more relaxed. So the fun factor here is that you are playing around with a really basic mesh, which is really easy to modify, and there's not a lot of headache going or hassle for you to modify this because it's really basic, and you're just trimming, adding topology to affect the result of the genome, and it's fun. You can create spaceships, buildings, guns. I guess we'll try guns next time, or even weapons. Weapons, melee weapons like swords. Is the seed value. Okay, there we go. Something. Oh. You can use textures for the tertiary details. Good. Just over to RS. Know how much. There are probably billions or even trillions of combinations because of the seed values. So we have seed values for silver, seed values for the offset and see values for the other factors like shading and vertex color. So I think this would amount to trillions of combinations. Where's the extra offset? Okay. So this is now a battleship. I don't know if even the OG random flow can create this and details can the paneling algorithm for the random flow original is more refined, whereas this is more primal, but it results into really something into really interesting details. Or more primal, more basic, I think. That extra offset list by individual. That creates more spikes. It's really good. Let's try and change the topology. So changing the topology changes the result of the modifier. Scale it and scale it again. There you go. It produced those two antennas. Oh, and if you look, it doesn't look like a agreeable mesh. It looks functional. If we can reduce the resolution or the subdivision to create more relaxed version of the mesh. And then you can try and introduce textures for the tertiary detail. Uh, the add-on, by the way, will not duplicate or stack the geonode effects on top of each other to avoid freezes. It can only produce one iteration of the geonode setup in a single mesh. So it will be up to you to stack it manually by just going here and pressing Shift D. By hovering over the modifier and then pressing Shift D, that will duplicate it. And then uh, you can of course hold and drag and mix the to of course modify their position and also their output. Really, this looks intimidating. This ship looks intimidating. Using RS. Okay, so let's more details. Like that. Oh my god, this looks cool. Um, let's reduce the percentage because we have more faces. 3% is actually I think too much. Okay, something like 3.5 or 2%. There we go. And it's 0.1 for the minimum and zero point 0.2 for the maximum. And that will really make the ship look bigger. something like point 0.3. There we go. Let's try individual. How about individual for the offset? There we go. That looks, that still looks good. Let's try modify the angle of the angle of the Easter eye. And to make the shape really big, let's modify the look big and convincing. It's a big object. We need to modify the offset. Everything's subtle. There we go. Something like yeah, 0.001 for the minimum. Probably 0.0005. There we go. And the color, vertex color, wait a minute. Let's choose point one instead. And the color here, distribution is point two. Distribution is point four. I'm not seeing the vertex color. There we go. Okay, point two. There's a bug with the vertex color, so it fix that. Um, something like something like that. And we need to open up the or activate the light UV vision. There we go. Let's just like let's do something like blue or green. The color of the Borg. There we go. Now we have, oh, that looks massive. There you go. Okay, this view is better. Here you go. Massive shit. The best thing is it's modular. And we just need to use UV for the lights. We just need to unwrap this. So it's just a basic unwrap. You know how it is. If we unwrap that manually, it's gonna create more time. Okay, let's see the result. There we go. Too big, something like 2000. Okay, and 0.06 for the factor. There we go. This is the randomize. So this has a lot of a very large footprint as you can see. It's taking some time to reinitialize the shader, but once it gets there, uh, you can see the darkness of space by going to film, rendering the HDRI, but then to advanced and brightness and contrast set to 0. And that is our ship. You can imagine we're just a single spaceship trying to maneuver its way to the large ship. And this is in full view of the star. This is underneath the ship with the star behind and above. Of course, this will be in complete darkness unless there's something reflecting the star, the shine of the star below. Okay, so yeah, I think I enjoyed myself too much. This is it for this video. If you're excited about this, share your opinion in the comments on what I can do to make this thing better. Or if you have any questions, yeah, just use the comment section. Also, you can join the Discord community. If you bought any of the add-ons, it's in the docs folder of the add-on, the README file. The Discord invite is there, so you can uh, create a discussion on the random flow Gnode edition, and of course affect its changes. So I might release it in Gumroad first, then eventually in Blender Market. Just in Gumroad first to test the waters, and if it's successful, then I can release it in Blender Market. Okay, so that's it, and I hope you like the. I hope you like what's happened to the add-on so far. So yeah, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.